Hey everyone, it's Salman Qureshi. You're listening to the Expat Brat podcast. What's going on? How are you guys doing? Has it been a happy few days for you guys? Have you been making money and establishing your name in the world and doing all sorts of great things, changing the world, making it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race? I wonder how many of you don't know those lines. It just says something about my age, doesn't it? You know, God, what's going on? I've woken up to some great news about some dude. This is the kind of stuff I feel like I have to cover now. It's Andrew Tate. That's his name, right? You guys heard of him? Younger generation will know him well. I don't know if you don't know him, I'd say you're a little out of touch from the internet age, my friends. It means you ain't hip, you ain't down with the kids, or you just don't check your news enough, or your news feed is different. I don't know. Andrew Tate is this ex-kickboxer? What is he, a sports athlete? Professional kickboxer. And then he was on some reality TV show in the UK where he was booted off because apparently there was a video leak of him. Not apparently, I think there's an actual video of him assaulting a female, a woman, and he kind of defended it. I think he said it was made up and out of context. I'm not laughing at the views. I'm just, oh my God. Like, this is the kind of stuff, is this the kind of stuff I'm going to have to talk about? Because that's what's happening in the world. It's crazy. He's one of those guys who is selling misogyny, who's going around talking big about men being superior. He's made some comments, that have gone viral about men being smarter, men own women, blah, 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 blah. So it riles up both sides. He's playing it well. It riles up both sides. There's like millions and billions of views on TikTok, not just of his page, but of him trending. And on a lot of social media platforms, YouTube and whatnot. I think he was banned from Twitter a little while ago, a couple of months ago or something, I think in July maybe. And now he's yesterday, that's how fast time flies. Oh my God. He's been removed from Instagram. Instagram and Facebook, basically Meta, has said, you have not followed or broken our community guidelines. And so we're going to remove you. Apparently, a lot of hatred. So the thing that's getting to people is that apparently a lot of young guys, kids around the age of 14, 15, have been listening to this stuff and inspired. All right. So they've gone into some classrooms and telling that they're not taking, commands about anything that's female related, like coming down, like there's some classroom where they refuse to read some work given to them because it was written by a woman. And apparently one of the teachers, when she said to some of these kids, she said, well, I'm a female. And they tried, well, that's a woman's job. Women do these jobs. And that's a mindset apparently created by him. But I don't think one guy can have that kind of, just him. It's a lot of stuff going on over the internet, isn't it? Now, how do I know this? Let's take a step back. Why do I know about Andrew Tate as an older person who shouldn't be in touch? Because I make an effort. If you're older and you don't know Andrew Tate, first of all, you are out of touch, my friend, and you need to get down and get hip with the kids. That's right. That's what I'm saying. You ain't hip with the kids. And I think I don't do it because I want to find out what's trending. Part of me does. But it interests me, and I think one of the things I want to do is not get old and stuck in my ways. And, every time I catch myself saying something like, the music these days is crap, I just want to stop, freeze, and go, no, don't go down that path. Now, I have my favorites from the olden times, but I'm trying to listen to stuff right now because I think that's the only way to stay young and fresh. And my body may be breaking down, decaying, but I and probably my mind, my brain too, but my mind, my thoughts and my approach to life, I want to always keep young. I think that's something very important to me, and I don't want to become those people that get stuck in their ideas and never evolve or whatnot. And part of me will is just, what is it? It's science, right? It's science that your brain becomes less elastic. What is it? Those neurons, blah blah blah. I don't know, right? So somewhat will happen, but I think overall, I think if I stay in touch, and I got this from my grandma. She passed away last year in the summer. It was the year of the COVID. I'm blurring years now. It was either 2020 or 2021 summer, and I was really sad to see her go. And but I think one of the things that really, really always I admired about her was that she tried to keep an open mind, and she would say stuff like, "Well, this is the thing about it's a thing. The new generation wants to do this. It's their time. Let them do it." Right? Not for every crazy thing. She was like, "Well, if they want to take drugs, that's cool. That's cool. Let them take it. It's their generation." But more along the lines of trends and thought process and stuff. And I like that about her. It always made her relatable and fresh and energetic and lovely to talk to, and just more full of life. So I take that and I go, yeah, I want to be kind of like that. And so I do. I've been lucky because nephews and nieces around me. I hang out with them. I've got a kid myself who's exposes, because of him. I'm exposed to a lot of kiddie stuff, but more so in a lot of the work that I do in the theater. We have a lot of teenagers coming through. I get to work with lots and lots of young adults, and they're always so fascinating to me. I love young people just starting out life and hopeful and just happy, most of them, and that's great. It's just a great feeling to see that. And because I'm around them, a lot of them are on my Insta and TikTok and stuff, so I do pick up stuff that they're putting on, and it interests me, and I go, okay, cool. So this is what's trending right now. This is what's blasting all over. And so, like I said, like a lot of this TikTok stuff, like this Andrew Tate story, I would not have probably caught on to it unless I was around seeing their posts and stuff about these things and how passionate they are. And that's it's interesting to me too. Also, it's scary, man. It's scary to think someone like him has blown up, especially over the last 3-4 months. He's got millions of people watching him, and I think on Insta, was it 4.7 million, something like that? It was his Insta page or TikTok, one of the two. And I'm just thinking, that's not a small number. That's millions of people all over the world, young kids, men, who are lapping this stuff up and corrupting their minds. And I don't know, it's terrible. And for Instagram to take that stand, I know we want to talk shit about these social media platforms all the time, and I know it's not, this doesn't like absolve them of everything, but I gotta applaud a good step, right? So you can't allow these voices to be amplified, and so you gotta go, that's a good thing. That's gotta be a good thing. And I know people come around and these right wings and go, freedom of speech. What about freedom of speech? And I go, screw your freedom of speech. This isn't about freedom. He's free to. He's not gonna be shut down. He's gonna go around on podcasts and other Joe Rogan type shows and stuff, and go on and still have his videos played out and passed around and whatnot. He'll find a way. Doesn't shut him down, but it's just nice to see some kind of step taken. And freedom of speech doesn't mean you get Instagram is not freedom of speech. Instagram is a private business. They get to choose who you do it, and I'm glad they made that right choice, because this is crazy, or at least part of me thinks that, right? And it's just, I can't in any way reconcile what he says to anything good whatsoever. But I wonder why, and this is beyond my ability to answer, but I'd love to know at some point what's going on with these kids, young men, to feel the need to latch on to this kind of stuff. what programming has been done to them? That's the interesting bit. Why do they feel the need to think I got to put down women, especially in an age where we're talking more about being inclusive and fair? What's going on with these kids? What's making them like this stuff or buy into it? Is it just to rebel against whatever the trend is, which is to be more inclusive, or they feel left out some way? They're threatened by, I don't know. That's an interesting one to me. Is it? And these guys, the other thing I really think these guys do well, Andrew Tate and his types, is that I think they're doing well to rile people up so they start watching their stuff. I'm gonna do that too. I'm gonna latch on to here's the way to go viral. Take one of the hot topics or anything good that people are doing, right? Take climate change, take diversity and inclusiveness. What else is there? What else? There's so much. There's any political thing. And almost take the, I wouldn't say unpopular, but the more the opinion that's more likely to upset people, to just be what's the word, contrasted, contrary, you get what I mean, right? Just go against it. So if everyone says Superman is great, amazing, just say he's not. He sucks. He's the worst comic ever. Or any movie that comes out. Just go against the grain. That's what I'm saying. And double down on it and be deliberately mean about that stuff. And I think you can go viral. I think you will. Because people just like doing that. They like latching on to controversial topics and ideas. And all these social media platforms are created to do it. So what do? You're supposed to, I think what we're supposed to do is ignore the Andrew Tates of the world. But you can't, right? It's like an explosion you can't control. Someone threw a grenade, and if you're saying, okay, maybe if we don't talk about the grenade, then it won't matter. If you're in the vicinity and you're going to be impacted by the explosion, unfortunately, you don't have a choice, right? So that's where we are. So what's the thing? So then you start countering it. You try making fun of it. All of it makes it bigger. And then it turns into a thing of us versus them. And here we are, right? So, oh, wow. That just crazy, crazy stuff. This guy's 35 years old, this dude. So many like him. He's gone so far, even some of the other right-wing guys are going like the Logans and stuff. They're like, I don't know. I don't agree with that. He's like the Trump of the right-wing people. Like even the Republicans are like, oh my God, like I'm going to have to support this, right? You've gone really far if you've done that. Like, but he's getting away with it. And I know he's got banned from a few places. Oh, funny enough, he's a Donald Trump fan. Surprise, surprise, right? So yeah, there you go. And I think the only way I can think of is like we should be allowed to make fun of it, and by ridiculing it is the only way you can possibly. I mean, Anchorman did that, right? The movie did so well, and yet here we are. What's the solution? Keep doing jokes? I guess so. That's all I have in my power. And these things, what I think it's something about men as well. Something to do with this. I know women have their own issues, maybe. I don't know. Are we really two different animals? I don't know. But men, sports, I think these people with power and privilege is what it is. Like I'm watching sports right now. I'm listening to the stories about Ronaldo and KD and their demands about being moved to different teams and stuff. And I just go, man, this isn't player empowerment like they claim it to be. I'm all for player empowerment. They're the ones who get that's who you go to watch, put the butts on the seats and whatnot. But too much of it is like too bad, and also it's not like a thing. I really think it's not. It's not. It's not. It's just the top few players that get all the advantages, and then it's not player empowerment. Because this stuff is, I don't know if you know, but like Kevin Durant, like he just goes up, he just gets up one day. He's the one who built this team together, the Nets, the Brooklyn Nets, and then he goes, "I'm out unless you do this for me." And that demand is deliberately undoable. I think so. I think that's what it is, and he's just put the whole organization in this situation just a few months before the things it's about to start. I don't know. Maybe Ben Simmons, when he moved over to the Nets, because he's not been playing, he's probably just been chatting with these guys, and some of it has rubbed off on them, and they're like, yeah, that's a good idea. I get paid for not playing, and just make lots of demands, and then blame the organization for not bringing in a championship. Got to go somehow. I don't care how great you are as players. Particularly, what's interesting to me is Ronaldo and Katie. Those two are getting old. I don't know Ronaldo's whole story, but he's also making demands about moving off from Man U and not happy with and both of them had this similar thing about, I want to win a championship now. And it just says, I don't know, it just says something about what's become important is possibly not the thing that should be important. I know championships are important and they're a huge part of your legacy, but I think about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, right? Like he stuck in towards the end with the Lakers and stuff. He's playing. And then he won a couple of championships at the end to go with that. So there's no sense of like, I think you can criticize these players without it sounding like you're taking sides with owners or something, or you're against the power of players having power, empowerment and whatnot. So you should be allowed to criticize these moves because they're rude. At the very least, they're super rude, right? They've done all these things. And you know why I say this is it's not a true player empowerment thing? Because it's the big guys like these guys calling shots, but it affects so many other players. Like, can you imagine? Can you imagine the Nets team just the rest of the players going, "Hey man, am I going to be moved now because this guy's demanding this?" And all of us, we don't know what's happening now. Can you imagine all the players that have to be transferred around and accommodated or rooted out of their places and whatnot because this guy has to be accommodated? I think that's so unfair. They're out of touch with the stuff. It's throwing tantrums and everything. That's what it is at this point. They just, is it too much money? It's the players on top, right? Like Shaq. I heard Shaq say this. It was hilarious. Charles Barkley was apparently, I don't know if you know the whole thing about Live Golf and the scandal that Saudis are sponsoring it and the PGA fight off with the two. But Shaq goes in support for Charles Barkley. He says, I would have supported him every which way if he had gone on. This is the part that got me. He says Charles is one of those legends like Bill Russell that didn't make a lot of money playing, right? I hear you in comparison. You know how much Charles Barkley made? He made $50 million over the course of his career. I looked this shit up just because I was like, really? Is he broke? His net worth right now is $40 million. These guys are so out of touch that they think that's not good money. It reminds me of this story of this senior banker I sat with. I was in the banking industry back then, and the financial crisis it was 2010, 2 years down the line. People have lost their homes and whatnot, and it's just crap. And the senior banker's lamenting this fact. He's like, "Oh, yeah, it's tough. Well, 2 of my 3 houses have lost a bit of value, in the UK." I thought, what? You're whining about a little loss in value? People have literally lost their whole life savings. And it's being out of touch, people. It's just being around so much money, they don't know what they're talking about anymore. And when, and that's why I got to admire people like Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, and these guys at that point. I don't think they lost their head like this. They were focused on the right things, and these guys aren't. These superstars, they're just they're kind of annoying me now. Who's shirt should I buy right now? You know, I want to support. I like having that, but I'm like, hey man, I might buy some player's shirt and then jersey or whatever, and then find out they've shipped off to another team, and it's just I don't know. I just feel bad for the other players. They're just sitting around. They're going to be displaced by these trades, maybe sent to the worst teams, all because one person wants to go. You know, it's it's like you're being sent to the Jackson 5 for Michael Jackson, like my. And you're like, that's. And why are they allowed to do this? You know, these guys are good basketball players, but they're not necessarily good managers or constructing winning rosters or cultures. No matter how successful they are in NBA 2K and in the My GM mode or whatever, right? We've seen actors ruin franchises when they get too much control. Maybe not Tom Cruise, fan of his, but other actors do that all the time. You can't do this. You can't have these players running around like that. That's just crazy. Ronaldo is worth like $500 million or pounds or whatever he's made. Like, it's insane money. I get it. Ben Simmons hasn't played a game. He's worth $6 million, man. That guy has 6 million. We say million like it's peanuts. It's not. It's a lot of zeros. And these guys, none of us are going to make that kind of money in our whole life, probably. For a lot of us, might not, right? And so I just wish, without sounding anti-players or anti-whatever, that, I don't know, I think these players at the top need to buckle down or something and start playing, right? Ronaldo throwing a hissy about the teams. I don't like the way the team is putting together. So I don't know. Just be a more positive influence. These guys are at the dead end of their career anyway. What are 34, 35, 30? I don't know. How old is Ronaldo? I don't know. These guys, they just, okay, Ben Simmons is young, but he's an idiot. I don't care how talented you are. I don't care even if you're in your prime. There's got to be a place where the team owners go, all right, stop this. And look at all these stories, all right? Everything I'm talking about today. It's just, it's not men. It's not a race thing. To me, it's people with too much privilege and power centered into one thing, and then they go off their rockers. They just want to feed off that that kind of stuff, right? Even coming back to these right-wing guys saying, I think Andrew Tate just said something, he got cornered in, and he went, you know what, I'm just going to play it out now. Some PR guy probably said, play it out, be that person, and who knows what he really believes anymore. Maybe he does. He's actually that idiotic, or he's doing it to get likes and fans, and we all fall for it. That's the way it's going to happen. So, you know what? I'm going to jump on that bandwagon, and I'm going to title this one, if you're just listening to this right at the end, that means you made it, and are on to me. I'm going to title this one, Andrew Tate and Privileged Men, and see what kind of bites it gets, because I'm jumping on that bandwagon, and see what happens to this episode in particular. All right, so if you've listened this far, you're on to my thinking right now, and you've fallen for it as well, just like everybody else on the internet, and there's no escape. We're just hooked on to this like it's a drug, and it's going to happen again. And now, even though I've said it, it'll still happen, right? That's the beauty of it. So anyway, this has been great. You guys have been great. I've had a chance to vent. I feel much better about my life. Probably my negative ranting has left you feeling hopeless, but I feel really great. So thank you for listening. I'll catch you guys at the next episode. Take care of yourself, guys. I'm out. Goodbye. Or as a dog would say, woof.